We're feeling the after effects of the Club World Cup. They get a nice shiny golden badge to stick on the shirt and hang over the stadium and everything. But however much that's worth, if the season goes completely awry, we're starting to learn, aren't we? They've already lost Levi Colwell in the first training session back, which prompted Maresca to sort of start putting the pressure on above and saying, we need another defender. The answer from on high was fairly firm in terms of, you're not getting one, but he looks right now.
Yeah, well, there were links to numerous defenders, and also Chelsea have sent like Mamadou Sarr out to Strasbourg. He definitely would have been helpful at a time like this, but again, it's just a kind of stockpiling of these young, and like I said, they're very talented. They're not bad players at all, but this is a result of what you get when you recruit explicitly young, inexperienced players. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to make individual errors, and the defence just.
Well, I think we've seen that over the last couple of weeks, haven't we? You go from the Manchester United game where we get Robert Sanchez is one of the more experienced ones, but another silly mistake from him there, and that we can go into that, but that's another sign of the ill discipline that is around Chelsea. It wasn't just Nicholas Jackson that picks up yellow and red cards and suspensions left, right and centre. It's a deeper problem that's been there for quite a long time now. Pochettino was really grappling with it at times. Madueke was a problem around that. He's moved on, and there are still others there that are going through those problems. But you go from that United game, Bayern Munich as well, there were signs of, there was some very good football in that game in Munich. I was out there for it. There was a lot of nice moments, good football. Palmer looked fantastic, but there's another problem that Maresca's dealing with in reliant on Cole Palmer at the other end away from the defence. We're just seeing a lot of that inexperience. Badiashile coming on and getting himself in a scrap when they're already down to 10 men. You could see a bit of experience from Robert Sanchez coming in there. He wasn't in there just to politely pull them apart. He was properly tearing Badiashile away from making a mistake that could cause even more trouble for Chelsea over what's going to be a difficult week already this week with injuries, and then the suspensions you look to for the Liverpool game as well. But there are just areas everywhere where you look at Chelsea and see that they are lacking a bit of nous, a bit of know-how, a bit of experience to calm things down. And outside of having patience, I don't know how you really solve that.
Yeah, I mean, well, you touched on Cole Palmer there. He obviously has been the cornerstone of this Chelsea attack so far, and in his absence, they've been obviously reliant on João Pedro. But João Pedro, I'm not being funny, he's a brilliant player, great striker, but he was probably Brighton's. He claims himself he was Brighton's main man last season. But at what point are Chelsea relying on one of Brighton's best attackers? And this was supposed to be a season after winning the Club World Cup and being world champions. This was supposed to be a season where Chelsea were pushing for the Champions League, to compete in the Champions League and the Premier League. And now they just don't. Already, just 6 games into the season, it just doesn't seem like they're going to be at that level.
It's a difficult one. I mean, they're relying on a lot of people from Brighton, and I think that they eventually they have all look like good signings. Sanchez, you can debate, has his moments, has his bad moments, has his great moments. He made some great saves against Bayern Munich and wasn't really at fault himself for the goals. Caicedo has eventually been a fantastic signing, albeit expensive. Cucurella, after a difficult start, great signing. João Pedro looks another good one, and he's made a fast start. Buonanotte, is a slightly odd one, and jury out there because we haven't seen enough of him. I don't think the issue is that they're relying on players from Brighton, because Brighton have come a long way and are a real example of where we are. It just feels like after the summer, which again, unprecedented, a lot for any club to deal with. No one really knows what you can do with a 2-week pre-season. There's no one that's experienced it before, no one they can lean on or learn from to go into that. There are now just a lot of fires to put out, and maybe it was naive of people to expect that off the back of a Conference League season where they're able to switch the team in and out at will and play different squads almost in the Conference League and the Premier League, that they'd be able to come into this with such a long summer and a short pre-season and really hit the ground running with a lot of new signings as well. We've not really seen anything from Garnacho yet. Late arrival, not really settled. Hato's a young player. Gittins, we haven't seen too much from. Needs a bit more time to settle. Esteval looks an incredible prospect, but is a teenager. And
a lot of pressure on him.
A lot of pressure and expectation on him, but also there needs to be an awful lot of patience. But it does feel like a slightly messy experience at the moment in terms of where they're looking for guidance. There was a lot of talk that winning these 2 trophies would suddenly click and turn them into winners, and that is that. And we know we're cold-blooded now. We can get through it. I think Bayern Munich slapped that down a bit, and the way they are reacting as a squad and as a coaching staff to setbacks in games is something they really need to address.
I think the question really is one of, they've obviously invested so much money into these young players and not really into kind of quality, experienced players, like, for example, the likes of a Bastoni or even a Xavi Simons to an extent. Of they're spending a lot of money on the likes of Garnacho, Gittins, instead of experienced, proven players. Do you think Chelsea need a mix?
I mean, every manager you speak to, or every sporting director you speak to, will historically tell you need that mix. You need that blend of the sort of fearlessness of youth, the willingness to run at anyone regardless of the situation and go for that. You need those players in the game. You need a wise head as well to calm things down if it's simmering or a poor reaction to a goal. You don't want to be conceding in short bursts. You need that wisdom there to guide you through, especially with having lost Thiago Silva. That's the one everyone speaks to. But Chelsea have taken this conscious decision to go down that route of youth and developing and growing the value of players, seeing some of them on the fringes as assets and lifting them up and moving them on. So really, this is a symptom of the decision they have taken, and they're hoping that in 1, 2, 3 years' time, they've got one of the most experienced and enviable squads around. So really now it's on the hierarchy to sit on their hands and sit through this, because it's a symptom of the path they've chosen to go down.